Sam Clemens' father died when he was 12, and he was required then to start working. He got a job as an apprentice in a local newspaper office to Mr. Amond. And he later worked for several papers that his brother ran, and then he got other jobs as an itinerant printer, both in the West and in Philadelphia and New York and elsewhere. And a newspaper office was a terrific place for a young boy who'd had to drop out of school to continue his education. It was really a perfect place for Sam because it not only gave him exposure to a whole range of different styles. They collected newspaper, they shared clippings with other newspapers around the country, but it also gave him a very intimate physical sense of connection with the world of print. And as he learned to set heavy rows of lead type, he really developed an appreciation for what he would later refer to as the right word versus the almost right word. He said the right word is to the almost right word what lightning is to the lightning bug. And I think that his early exposure to setting all of those words in type helped him appreciate that. He worked as a journalist in his brother's papers in Keokuk, Iowa. He wrote parodies of travel letters for the Keokuk Gate. And then he went out west to try to make it as a silver miner. And I think one of the great strokes of luck for the rest of us is that he was such a dismal failure as a miner, because he did not have a burning desire to write. He wrote because he needed to earn a living. And if he had struck it rich in silver, he might never have become the writer that he became. But he didn't. He screwed up one claim after another. It just didn't work out. Sometimes it was his own fault. Sometimes it was just bad luck. But he found shortly that by mining his own experience instead of mining for silver, he could do quite well. He began work as a journalist, as a reporter on the Territorial Enterprise in Virginia City, Nevada, where newspapers were the main source of entertainment in the town. They were wild, raucous, filled with out-of-control hoaxes and tall tales, as well as occasionally accurate reportage, and also some stories that were exposés of local scandals and scams. And all of this was great training for somebody who would end up earning his living by his pen. He tried various pseudonyms up to the point that he got to Nevada, including Thomas Jefferson Snodgrass, W. Epaminondas Adrastus Blab, Quintus Curtius Snodgrass. But finally in Nevada in 1863, he hit upon the pen name that he'd keep, and that was Mark Twain. We don't know exactly where he got Mark Twain from. He claims he stole it from a previous writer, a satirist of the River, Sergeant Fathom. That's the one that he kept. And even though we don't know exactly where it came from, we do know why it came to seem increasingly apt, at least in retrospect to us as readers. It is associated with the riverboatman's call of Mark Twain. What's so interesting about it from another standpoint is that Mark Twain also means Mark II. There's a two-ness inherent in the name. And there's a two-ness inherent in the notion of a writer who has an identity as a man and who also has an identity as a writer, the Sam Clemens, Mark Twain duality. But with Twain, there's always a two-ness inherent in what he's writing. There's a surface meaning and there's a larger meaning between the lines. His great success as a satirist has to do with the kind of double vision that he could bring to play on a whole range of material. So it became an extremely apt pseudonym for him.